special without doing something special.
I got my wallet, that's all.
Okay, guys, so it's been a minute. Let's see if y'all remember. Shalom.
Shalom.
Very nice. For those who don't know, shalom means peace be with you. And whenever I want peace on you, hopefully y'all return that peace this way. Now, y'all guys have been in summer for like 2 months now, and I bet some of y'all been wasting it. But we'll get to that. I bet the reality is some of y'all got some stuff over your heads. There's stuff that's weighing down on you. Y'all probably have not had the best summer. And the reality is teens face so much stress and anxiety and worries, and because the world's constantly throwing stuff at you or trying to pull your attention to get you focused, and it demands things of you. And it's crazy how we feel overwhelmed. I mean, how many of y'all watched the new Spider-Verse movie? A couple of y'all? Cool. It's a really great movie. The first movie has a really cool scene. Maybe not cool, but interesting. The character Miles Morales, he goes to school and he's just thrown on with stuff. People saying you need to do this, and it's just, it becomes stressful even just to watch it. And a lot of you guys have been, so much stress has fallen y'all don't even know what to do. So we're going to be talking about today, and we're going to see what God has for us. So dear God, I thank you. I thank you for these students. I thank you for all you're doing. You love every single one of them. You see them for who they are. You know them. And you see their hurts, anxieties, and worries. You see the reality that life is heavy. We just want your spirit to rest on us. It's in your name we pray. Amen. Alright, so, who here is tired? Anyone tired? Very nice. Raise your hand. Put your hands down. Another question. How many of y'all think summer has gone by way too fast? You think summer's gone by too fast? And who would, if you got the choice, would want more summer break? Very nice. Now, last question. How many of you would say that you use every bit of your summer to the best of its ability? A couple of you. Now, here's the thing. If I also asked, how much time did y'all waste? Guys, and it's a thing. Guys, we get tired because there's so much stuff going on, and summer's gone like this. We don't even got time to enjoy it. It's crazy, all this different stuff, and we don't even relax. How many of us actually take summer to revive and rest versus how many of us take summer to do, or consume, fill in the blank? Because y'all deal with it. Y'all deal with stress. I'm going to tell you this. If an adult ever tells you that you're a teen, your problems aren't real, y'all don't need to have stress, it's stupid, they're wrong. I got a list here. These are just a couple of things that teens, some of you or some other people you don't know, have to deal with. Juggling responsibilities such as school, work, or sports, just figuring it all out. Worrying about schoolwork or grades. Having problems with friends, bullying, or peer group pressures. Maybe it's, for some of y'all, it's changing schools, moving, or dealing with housing problems or homelessness. Maybe it's becoming sexually active or feeling pressure to do so. Maybe it's going through body changes in both boys and girls. Maybe it's seeing their parents go through a divorce or separation. Maybe it's having financial problems in the family. Maybe it's living in an unsafe home or neighborhood. Or maybe it's basic stuff like just figuring out junior high or high school or getting into college. Y'all guys got so much stuff that weighs on you. So much stress, so many things that y'all are caring about. All these things are like real things that y'all deal with on a basis. I'm pretty sure some of y'all could have been like, yep, that's me, check mark, check. Y'all could have gone through and that defined you. Because y'all got so much going on, so much tearing down on your lives, so much weighing down. And it's ridiculous. And all of it seeks your attention. And none of that actually even is the stuff that y'all probably do. That's weighing on you, but how do we deal? I just got back from like a month long of just like a week away craziness, just like busyness, driving, flying. I went across the country. And then I got back, and what was the first thing I did? Watch TV. Binged it. Missed all my shows. Or maybe y'all, and I've done this too, where you're crazy busy and all this stuff, so you just get home and you get on your phone. And you just scroll for hours. Never stopping. How many of us, we are so stressed and overwhelmed, but then when we deal with it, we don't actually deal with it. We distract ourselves. It doesn't help, doesn't revive, it's just there. Now, what does God do? We see at the very beginning of the first book of the Bible, first chapter of the Bible, we see a very poetic, beautiful kind of explanation of what God sees as creation and wholeness. We see that God takes 6 days to create the whole earth and the whole cosmos and everything of existence. He does a day here, fixes. He creates humanity, animals, everything around us. In 6 days, he does all this. But then on the 7th day, he sees all it's good, but on the 7th day, he does something different. He rests. He sits back and just enjoys everything that's happened. And the first 6 days always end in the poetic way. They had a night and a day, and that was the day. And it ended. Day and night ended. But when it got to the 7th day, it didn't end. It was meant to be this perfect rest that continued forever. This perfect place. But then what happened after that is that he created 2 humans. And not after that, but he created those 2 humans. And you know the best part and kind of like saddest part about God? God created humans with free will. What that means is that God chooses not to be like, hey, do this. And you're just like, yes, sir. And you're a robot. God gave us the free will so God can say, hey, Taryn, I want this for your life. You have the freedom to say, no. You shouldn't, but you have the freedom. And God told his creation, he said, okay, here's the thing. You can eat, enjoy, do whatever you want. All you gotta do is don't eat of this one tree. Just don't eat of this one tree and you're good. What do you think they did? They ate from the tree because they dumb. But they ate from the tree. And it broke that relationship with God. They were no longer able to be in that perfect rest. We see in a verse, Genesis 3:17-19. This is after they've sinned. It says this. Genesis 3:17-19. And to the man he said this, since you listened to your wife and ate from the tree whose fruit I commanded you not to eat, the ground is cursed because of you. Now first, I do want to say this. There are men who've taken this and be like, oh, so I shouldn't listen to my wife. No, that's not the meaning of this verse. But the reality is he said, you listen to your wife over me. And your choices curse the ground. Your choices have consequences, and all of your life will struggle to scratch a living from the ground. Next one. It will grow thorns and thistles for you, though you will eat of its grains. By the sweat of your brow will you have food to eat until you return to the ground from which you were made. For you were made from dust, and to dust you will return. This is a harsh thing, right? It says instead of, they had perfect peace with God, and God's like, dude, just stay here. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing, perfect peace. But they chose to do their own thing, try to create their own peace, and what it led to was a broken world. Everything we go through is because we're broke. We live in this broken world. And because our hearts, we are full of this broken thing, we try to fix it for ourselves. We try to create stuff for ourselves instead of listening to Him. And it's this broken thing that has happened. But it's okay because God did not leave them on their own. God actually continued to be with them. And then He chose His people, the Israelites. He said, okay, guys, we're going to do this together. Okay, I'm going to love y'all guys. I'm going to lead you guys so that the rest of the world can experience my love through you, okay? And my rest through you, okay? And they're like, hey, let's do it. And so God gave the Israelites this plan. Okay, we're going to have a thing called a Sabbath. Everyone say Sabbath. Sabbath, not Sabbath of the sister, just Sabbath. And Sabbath means this. He's like, here's what we're going to do. 6 days, you're going to work hard. You're going to struggle. You're going to hurt. You're going to go through all this stuff. But after 6 days, on the 7th day, we're going to make it special. And on the 7th day, we're going to not do nothing. We're going to rest. We're going to cook extra on the day but 6th day, so that on the 7th day, we don't even have to cook. We can rest and be revived and let our bodies and our hearts and our minds just become renewed in God's presence. And it was beautiful, and it was God saying, I know the world's broken, but I'm going to give you the rest that I offer in the world. And take this rest. And the Israelites were perfect, and they never messed up after that. They messed up so much. Because you know that thing, free will? So many times God was like, hey guys, now I want you to do these incredible things. You just got to listen to me. They looked to God and said, no. And they did their own thing. Time and time again. And every time they did, they faced the consequences. It's like God said, don't touch the stove. And they're like, no. And they got burned. Time and time again. And they even messed up when it came to the Sabbath. They decided, there were people that were like so obsessed with the Sabbath that they made it all about rules. Did you know even like the Israelites will follow the Sabbath now, but you're not allowed to press an elevator button because that's work. It's like, I've been to Israel. On the Sabbath, they have one elevator that can work by strangers, whatever, but if you're Jewish, you'll go in there and you'll go to every floor and you just go and you wait because touching that would be wrong. And they have so many rules where if you did anything, if you sneezed and wiped the snot off your nose, sinner. It was ridiculous, all the rules that they focused it instead about rest, it was about rules. And then Jesus came. And He came and lived an incredible life, and He was real, and He was here. And He's like, I'm here, guys. It's going to be incredible. We're going to do new stuff. And some of the healings and miracles He did were against the rules. He won this one time. There's this guy who his arm was like this. It was like broken and shriveled and stuck. And Jesus walked into it on the Sabbath, walked in, and healed the guy's hand. Just right there in front of him, healed him. And the guys around him were like, that's working, sinner. And they discredited him. And then one time Jesus talked to this guy who had not walked in years. And He said, guess what? Stand, take up your mat, and go. And He healed him. And what were the people worried about? The rules. You're doing this on the Sabbath. And Jesus is just so oh my goodness, these guys are dumb. And He says in Matthew 12:8, Jesus says this. For the Son of Man, who's Him, Jesus, is Lord, even over the Sabbath. The Sabbath wasn't made over God. God created the Sabbath so that y'all could experience His rest. He's not bound by the rules. Because He's going to make something new, a new way to experience God's rest and completeness. And that way is Him. We see in Matthew 11:28, Jesus says this. Matthew, yeah, there you go. Then Jesus said, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest." What on earth does that mean? All of you who are stressed, worried, you stay up late just with anxiety, all of you who are just overwhelmed, all of it, take it, bring it to me, and I will give you rest. Guys, the answer to this issue, this answer to this stuff is God. It's like coming to Jesus' presence. And it's not about rules, it's not about following this stuff, but it's about resting and growing close with Him. And I got 3 weeks, we're going to be dealing with this, and I'm going to go deeper in how we can do this. How? Because y'all might be struggling right now. Y'all might be so overwhelmed with all this stress. And the first thing is I want you to know, take it to Jesus. The next thing, we're going to be going into the next 5 things the next 3 weeks, talking about how we can find rest in God. Almost done, guys. Eyes on me. First thing, finding rest, unplug. Disconnect from life-draining things and people. And we're going to look at what that means, what that does. And I do say all this, these 5 things are things me and Victoria need to work on. We were looking, we're like, we don't do that, we don't do that, we don't do that. This is stuff we all need to be working on. Second thing is this. Focus in on creation. Because God has created this beautiful, complete, amazing world. And when we focus in on it instead of our issues, He gives us peace. And we find awe in what He's done. And we find humility in how big of a God He is. Next is we find, get sleep. I know it's like a crazy thing. I know we were talking already. Where are you at? I don't know if you mind that. One of you guys, we were talking about, oh yeah. We talking about just the lack of sleep. Y'all don't, the crazy thing is as teens, y'all's body needs the most sleep, but gets the least. Like, I don't technically need as much sleep as y'all do. But y'all don't get enough. And so we're going to talk about resting and the importance of that. Number 4 is spending time with God. Because guys, some of y'all have been through this summer doing stuff, going crazy, and because we haven't had Wednesday nights, some of y'all maybe have not spent any time with God. So we're going to be talking about praying. We're going to be talking about reading His Word and just enjoying the silence that He offers. And the last thing is just express your heart. We're going to dive deep into what it means to express our love for God and how that brings us rest. Whether through worship, praise, or any freedom of expression. So I ask again, who is tired? Y'all, and I don't mean just physically, but emotionally, socially, spiritually, mentally, relationally. So many of us are tired. But so many of us are tired because we haven't brought it to Him. So we're going to be praying in just a second. And we're almost done. Pretty much, guys, we're done and over. It's a very nice, sweet, and short. But I do want y'all to do this with me. Would y'all be willing to do something for me real quick? Okay, awesome. Partly with listening, but do this. We're going to take a moment and be quiet. I'm going to pray, and in that prayer, we're going to rest. And I know it's not like you might fall asleep, who knows? But it's not just about sleep, it's about calming our body, breathing in and out, and just relying on Him. And if you have something that's been weighing on you, that's causing you stress, during that silent moment, eyes on me, during that silent moment, breathe it out and give it to Him. Okay, y'all ready? Dear God, we are in need of you. So many of these students go through real, difficult, hard situations, struggling in so many ways, and it's just tearing down. There's so many things, so much pressure. But God, what you offer is freedom. You offer rest when there is none. You offer peace within the storm. And God, we just want to be a part of what you're doing. Take our free will and say yes to you. To experience your love. Not about rules, not about the right way to do it, but just coming to your presence, breathing you in. We trust you. And right now, we're going to be quiet just for a moment. And we're going to be intentional to focus in on our breath. To not be messing with neighbors, but just be breathing in and out. And just taking a slow moment of rest. We thank you for all you've done. We thank you for your love and for the reality that you love us when we don't deserve it. Give us peace during this hurt. Let us be changed and shaped by you. Let us say yes when you call us into your presence. And let us experience what you have. We thank you, praise you, it's in your name we pray. All right, so